How are you feeling, Eddie?
I'm all right. It's like, I feel like the response has been like someone's passed away.
Yeah.
All the text messages just checking in. How you feeling? I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's sport, obviously gutted, devastated, more for Anthony than anything, but we go again. We've been here before, may even be here again. And it's just the dangers and the drama of high-level boxing and sport. Just the most wonderful night. It was the most wonderful occasion, but the drive home was a little bit more painful. That was all.
Can you appreciate the occasion, though? Can you step aside from
I did this time. I've done a lot of shows at Wembley, and I've done a lot of big stadium shows. And I kind of said to myself in the build-up to that fight, make sure you have a little look around and enjoy it. And the walkout was unbelievable. It was so pumped. And I, in a weird way, and I actually feel like Anthony feels the same way. I actually really enjoyed the fight. It was hard to watch at times, but I think in reflection, when he looks back, he's like, oh, blimey, we went through it in there, didn't we? I was like, yeah. And, that's actually the first time he's really been in a fight like that. And it's obviously the first time he's been knocked out as well. So, yeah, a lot of new experiences, sometimes experiences that we didn't really want to experience. But at the same time, I think just part of the journey. And, people now want to overanalyze everything. Oh, he tripped on the ring walk. I don't know how many times you tripped over that bit of carpet coming out of the tunnel, but I did it about 8 times during the night. And I'd love to tell you that there was a problem. I'd love to tell you that Camp wasn't very good, or he had COVID, or there was an injury. Camp was great. He looked sensational. Sparring perfect. Form of his life. But unfortunately, didn't do what he had to do in the ring. Made mistakes. And they cost you in that division and failed to recover. Apart from at the end when he rolled the dice, as we've seen, and he got chinned. And that's all she wrote.
Was there anything, though? I know you talk about the over-analysing of AJ. Look, you've seen and you've known him for so long. That moment when they are announcing the fights before they do that centre of the ring, are you seeing anything there?
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Honestly, he shows no emotion in ring walk. When have you ever seen him smile? He does put his hands up. He did exactly the same thing that he did in that fight than he did to the Klitschko fight. And he started very, very badly, and he made some very basic mistakes that basically cost him the first 3 rounds of the fight.
Does that surprise you? Considering the pressure was on Dubois to kind of freeze in that.
Yeah, I don't like saying that AJ was poor. He was, but I want to say how good Dubois was. Dubois did all the things that he had to do to make AJ do that. But they were only things that we were expecting him to do. They weren't like this Matrix Maverick plan that they've just come out of the blue with. It was just the basics of what we knew Dubois would do. Start fast, close the distance, jab with you, break the space, attack you against the ropes, all of this kind of stuff. And AJ just didn't deal with that. And really, it's the first round. The huge right hand that he shipped at the end of the first round, he didn't really recover from till going into the 4th round. The 2nd round, he took a beating. The 3rd round, I don't know how he was still in the fight, honestly. And, when you go back and you watch the corner footage from that end of the 4th round, he was a guy that was still there. And somehow still there and ready to roll the dice and have a crack.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately had a little bit of success in the 5th round and then tried to close the show. I said to him, I'm so proud of you, because how many times you hear a fighter say, see me, I'll go out on my shield. Oh, I'll roll the dice. I'd rather get knocked out clean than lose on points. And then they go lose on points. And this was a guy that was rolling the dice, trying to win. And I said to him, you can't, the key is, not just in boxing, but in life, but particularly after these fights, when you wake up in the morning on Sunday, you can look yourself in the mirror and you say, I couldn't have done any more. Now, if you made mistakes or technically you were poor, okay, but couldn't have done any more. And he could not have done. I said, you couldn't have tried another inch. He said, I know, I would.
Does that not worry you, though? If you couldn't have tried another inch,
no, because if you make mistakes, then that's just boxing, that's sport. But if you've tried and you've showed unbelievable heart, courage, bottle, whatever you want it to be, you got beat on the night because you didn't perform. But at least, you went for it.
Yeah.
You didn't take a knee. You didn't say to Ben Davison, mate, I've had enough in here. You didn't let the ref count you to 10. You got up probably when you couldn't get up. and you still tried to win. You know what I mean? So, in a way, I would rather he just survived and lost every round, and it was, 120, 106, or whatever it's going to be, and that was it. He rolled the dice to win the fight. And when people say, shouldn't have rolled the dice at a time, mate, when you see an opening like that and you're out of the fight, so you have to try and close it.
Agreed. AJ's the superstar, so we already start saying what's next, even though it was only a couple of days ago. There are options, right? Just because he's Anthony Joshua. One of those options is a rematch. He's done that before. When he's lost, he's gone straight back in, and he's performed better all the times he's gone back in. Just your promoter hat on now, not AJ as a friend or AJ as someone that could go on and still become a world champion. What should he do as a promoter? What should he do next?
So I think the next move is probably the most important of his career so far. I think him, as he's proven with Ruiz and Usyk, will only want to do one thing, which is to rematch Daniel Dubois and put the wrong right. We have within our contract with His Excellency in Riyadh Season the option to do the rematch. I'm pretty sure after all my conversations so far with His Excellency, and we'll see him with AJ later today, he wants the immediate rematch. Daniel Dubois will probably have no problem with the immediate rematch. He just won the fight by stoppage. Yeah. And it's the biggest fight out there for him. Do we want the rematch? Is it the right move next? Now? Again, taking away AJ's emotion, taking away the fighter in him, taking away the pride. Do we wait for December 21st and see what happens with Tyson Fury? Or do we jump straight back into Daniel Dubois? Daniel Dubois is probably going to fight in February. Are we ready to go in February? Is that the right move for us? That's the next decision. For me, we have to fight Tyson Fury before it's done. I said to AJ the other night, I said, you've got somewhere between 1 and 3 fights left. And it all went very quiet on the phone. It's like the realisation, wow, he don't want to leave the sport. He loves it. But we as a team will make sure that he leaves the sport at the right time. And you leave when you're deteriorating and when it's showing in the gym and when you're not sparring well, you're getting hurt in sparring, etc., etc. And none of that's happening, by the way. He's like, he was in that camp, they're going, wow, like best camp, best form, everything. So if Tyson Fury loses against Alexander Usyk, my advice would be for those two to have 2 fights in 2025 and then sail off into the sunset. May the best man win. If Fury wins against Usyk, AJ can fight Fury for the unified World Heavyweight Championship.
Would you be comfortable putting AJ in there off the back of a defeat?
Absolutely, because styles make fights. I actually think Dubois is a much more dangerous fight for AJ than Tyson Fury.
Frightening, isn't he?
Yeah. He's always frightening, but less frightening when you do the right things.
True.
Do you know what I mean? If you let him run through you, very dangerous. And that's what AJ did. So, the style matchup against Fury is, I think, much more beneficial to Anthony Joshua. Still a very tough fight, but AJ's about legacy. He's about leaving the sport having done as much as he could. And if you leave the sport without fighting Tyson Fury, I'm still going to rock up to petrol stations in 10 years. People saying to me, wait, why didn't you make that fight? So we all want to make it, but there will be the pressure from His Excellency and particularly the pressure of AJ, the inner pride of AJ saying, no, I want Dubois. So watch this space.
But ultimately, a decision will be made after the Fury fight.
No, not necessarily. I mean, His Excellency will, if he's doing a show in February, he will want a decision imminently. And that's difficult because we have to go through, the medical side as well. Go away, get all the scans done, check out the hands, do the rehab, rest, and see when we're ready to go. Because it was a tough night at the office.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see what happens. Eddie, appreciate it. Thank you.